Well, now that I've got the coolant system drained and flushed and refilled on this F-250 and also installed a new radiator, I was testing the engine after that, and I heard a slight ticking noise. And it didn't really sound like a lifter noise, just a ticking noise. And the engine was running just fine and everything, no drivability symptoms, but what it ended up being was a spark plug boot had worked its way off one of the spark plugs on the passenger side. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but it was this spark plug right there. This boot just does not fit on that plug very tightly and wants to work its way off as the engine vibrates. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the spark plug wires on this thing. And back when I got it in September, I had already replaced the distributor cap as well as the rotor because they badly needed it. So that's been done. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing and use the replace the spark plug wires as well too. Of course, all with the genuine Motorcraft parts. I tend to stick with the Motorcraft parts for jobs like this because I want to maintain the original look and the exact length of all the wires. They just end up fitting a lot better. And there's nothing really too terribly riveting about the job, so I won't video the whole thing, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the left rear plug there and kind of work my way up to the front and just take out each wire one at a time and compare the length of that wire to the new wire and go ahead and replace it, trying to maintain the original routing. And that way I won't have any problems with getting the firing order mixed up or forgetting what the original routing looks like. So anyway, let me get started and see how far I get. Okay, I finally got all the spark plug wires changed, and here's the carnage. And the coil wire looks particularly bad. A little bit more discolored than usual. I was unable to get this wire loom off of here. It's not the kind that has a slit in it. So I'm going to go ahead and run down to the parts store and take this with me and see if I can buy some new wire looms so I can get the new coil wire on there and make it look as original as possible. And I was able to actually take off the retainer that goes to that coil wire off of the old plug and put it on the new one and reuse it, so I'd maintain the original look. And I noticed that there were a lot of scratch marks on either side of these, so someone's been in this before. I'm not sure if they went and changed the coil or they just pulled it off to try to do some diagnostics, but I found that kind of interesting. You start finding stuff like that when you do a little bit of work on your car. And here's what the new wires look like. I was able to maintain the original routing, and that's pretty important. There's a little maybe an unknown fact with when doing spark plug wires. That's called inductive misfire. And basically what that means is that depending upon the firing order of the engine, you don't want two cylinders right next to each other that are going to fire in sequence. You want to route the wires as far away as possible. So this engine here is the 5.8 liter or 351 Windsor, and looking here in the manual, it tells you what the firing order is, and you can see the adjacent cylinders are going to be number 6 and 5, basically the first two on the driver's side. So that means that cylinder and that cylinder. So what you have to do, and this was already wired like that from the factory, and that's why I want to maintain the original wiring order. Here's 5 and that's 6. Far away as you possibly can. And that'll reduce the inductive misfire problem. It's not so much of a concern on the older points of condenser ignitions, but with the electronic high energy ignitions, it could be a problem under the right circumstances. This This side of the truck was not that hard to do. You have to undo these clips, which takes some time, but I do want to retain the original clips or plastic retainers. The problem comes in on the other side on these Fords, because you have two of these same clips all tucked up under the intake manifold here. I don't even know if you can see. Yeah, it's so tucked up under there you can't even see it, but that's where the 4 wires route to, and it's all up under here and up near the UGR valve and throttle body, and it's just really hard to get to. It took like 30 minutes to get those apart. But just like on the other side, got all the wiring nice and routed and tucked away from the exhaust manifolds. So now I think it's time to go ahead and crank it up, do a cold start on it, and see what it sounds like now. Well, it certainly sounds and feels like I got the firing order right, which is nice. You'll know in a hurry if you get that wrong. I'm going to go ahead and let it warm up here for a little bit and run down to the parts store so I can get some of that wire loom to put on the coil wire here to protect it just like original. And then we should be all set. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing runs and dries with the new coil wires on there. The old coil wires weren't really in all that bad a shape, except for that one side that looked like I had a misfire because it was partially off the plug. And that may have happened when I changed the spark plugs. They're 17 years old and pretty tired, and maybe it got bent when I did it. But it's nice to have all new cables, new cap and new rotor, new plugs. Basically keep the ignition system in perfect shape, especially for foul weather conditions. So sorry for the kind of before and after nature of the video. There's not much interest in watching somebody change the plug, just you take them off one at a time. I just kind of wanted to go over the procedure with you and just take your time with it, and you'll be able to do a good job.